Golden slumbers fill your eyes, smiles awake when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. This is Community Solutions Podcast.
What an opening.
What an opening. Yeah, but this is the thing. I'm just going to say, we're going to talk about Golden Valley today. So, everybody in Golden Valley, I think, is asleep. So, Golden Slumbers is perfect. But
no, everybody's in a coma.
Is that what it is? But like later in that medley, it goes into what's the next song in the medley on the Abbey Road medley?
You got me. That's the Beatles, right?
Yeah. Boy, you're going to carry that weight. That is what happens when you fall asleep. Golden Valley, you're carrying the weight.
If it's not Peter, Paul, and Mary, I don't know what it is.
Oh, boy.
If you're talking about the Beatles, okay, I like the Twist and Shout, Can't Buy Me Love Beatles.
That's good.
Better than the later when they kind of changed a little bit.
But I love Abbey
I like
Road.
Their music no matter what.
I love the Abbey Road. But that's what we're talking about today. Golden Valley.
Here's the thing. If Paul McCartney would have stayed with those three guys, he never would have made it. Remember that.
That's true. That's true. My word, did they drag him down.
No kidding.
What did they accomplish?
I don't know.
Oh.
Got me. That was I don't know anything about the Beatles, but I read history. So that's all I can say about them. They were broken up long before I was around. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, actually, they were in the process of breaking up. I mean, Abbey Road came out.
What was that, about 1970, 71, something like that?
It was a little later than that.
Okay.
Well, not much, though.
That was their last album, though.
That was the last one that they recorded. Let It Be was actually the last one that they put out there.
Oh, I thought that was Lennon by himself.
No.
What am I
that had a bunch of good songs on it. Dig a Pony.
Imagine, was that Lennon by himself?
Yes.
Imagine all the people. See, I can sing it pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That was him by himself?
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
That was with all the finesse of, like, somebody at Oktoberfest doing karaoke. That's good. No, you've got a fine voice. Otherwise, I would not. No. I would not have partnered with you on this.
I've got a good voice for radio. Okay, not for singing. I know my limitations. My wife, she does the karaoke in the family.
Yeah.
Okay, not me. So she's very good.
Is she?
Yes. I think so.
I
think she's great at everything.
I'll have to have a karaoke off with her sometime and see how it goes.
Bet on her, no offense.
Yeah, that's okay. I only do it for a living outside of those. Huh? Oh, we have fun here because
we have to have fun.
We have to.
As soon as we start talking about Golden Valley, the laughing's over.
That's right.
So we've got to talk about those three guys with Paul McCartney. I'll tell you what. Yeah. You mentioned everybody in Golden Valley being asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I say in a coma. I think, first off, we're referring to the fact of what we're going to talk about today, what's going on in the city, about the upcoming election there, which is not very long away. And Jay, is it Golden Valley has everything that I don't like. At large, I mean, from an election standpoint.
Yeah.
At large elections, odd year.
Yep.
No wards, no nothing like that.
No.
Somebody gets 1,000 votes and they represent a city of 20,000, 21,000.
Yeah.
It's somewhere around there.
It's terrible. Yeah.
So, I mean, everything that I think is wrong with how we go about electing local government, Golden Valley is kind of one. They're a charter city. That's about the only thing that I can come up with. And they do film their planning commission meetings, which I do like.
See that?
So I try to be positive, but it's we've done a lot of making fun of New Hope on previous shows. And they could screw up a 1-car parade.
Right.
I think Golden Valley could screw up maybe a 1.5-car parade. With what they've been up to. And a lot of this stuff, again, flies under the radar. You find out about it after it happens. And, we've seen recent developments in New Hope where there's kind of an angry population at the city council, but it's not translating into people running for office. It's
Right.
not translating into somebody getting out there and voting and pounding the pavement on election day. So, and again, Golden Valley, and we'll get into the election in a little bit because I want to talk about the issues first, because that's where you want to talk about scratching your head. What they're doing or planning on doing, or I would argue trying to manipulate happening, goes above. Put it to you this way. Everything we've talked about of what you should fear out of your local government is happening in Golden Valley as well as New Hope, but Golden Valley too.
Right.
They're a city with franchise fees. They are all aboard public transit. They've been transforming the city, I would argue, the way they want to be like St. Louis Park more. And you could see the direction St. Louis Park has gone, and you could see how Golden Valley is going. And, I mean, again, this is another show where we're not going to get into every detail or anything like that. But there's been a few issues recently where I don't know how to react. I don't know if I should laugh or be upset or, start throwing out Effenheimers. I don't know what I should do.
Well, this is a family podcast.
Yeah, of course it is. When I read this blankety blank,
Right.
I sit there and I say to myself, what planet am I living on? Is this the city directly to the east of me? Really? It used to be south of me?
Yeah, it is.
Now you tell me. I'm going to start with this. You tell me, why does a city need a bicycle and pedestrian task force? What in tarnation would they need that for? To quote Uncle Jesse.
Pedestrian task force. Yes. Why would they need that? That's a good question. A task force makes me think that there's a problem in Golden Valley, that bicyclists and pedestrians are oppressed.
Are they getting run over? I mean, well, what is the I don't know. Are they are there drive-bys going on? I mean, I don't know what is the. I mean, first off, let's just back up.
Okay.
I don't know what they're tasked with doing. I have no idea. I don't know who's on it. I have no idea there, except it is chaired by Steve Schmidgall, who is a council member. Now, how do you have a task force and have a city council member as the chair? Now, why would the city councilman be the chair?
Yeah, because they can control it.
That
is exactly why.
So in other words, is this task force all for show? Is this their community input?
Can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Okay, so
I might not have the answer.
I think you do.
Oh.
So Crystal set up their city code task force. Which city council member chaired that?
Me.
But you're not on the city council.
No, in fact, I'll even take it a step further. I'll take it a step further. Not only am I not on the council, but they never told us what to do.
Wow.
I mean, I remember the first meeting, and the second meeting, Jim was there, Mayor Adams was there, Jeff Kolb was there, Olga Parsons was there. They never said a word.
Wow.
Our city attorney didn't direct the conversation. He was there because there are some state laws, and I mean, you have to have it legally looked over. Ann Norris, our city manager, didn't either. I don't know if she was instructed to do that or what, but it was a true task force where the citizens came up with everything. Now, you have a councilman chair of this, and my guess is he decided he was the chair.
Right.
Again, that tells me it's there to steer the conversation in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And nothing, Let's go over here. Now, they met, this is riveting.
Yes.
4 times during 8 months and worked, see if I have this right, with the city's transportation engineering consultant.
Oh, so they hired somebody with tax dollars to come in and tell them what they needed to do with their transportation.
I suppose. I don't think they have a transportation engineering consultant on city staff.
No, he wouldn't be a consultant at that point.
That's true.
Yeah.
Objectives and policies. A map of existing and proposed bicycle and pedestrian networks in a policy plan to help guide staff members with implementation of improvements. Now, let me ask a question on that. If you live in a neighborhood, aren't you aware of where the sidewalk is and where the
When I was young,
bike lanes are? I mean, seriously. I mean, who is that tone deaf?
when I was young, now I'll take this back a ways. My mother always told me, stay out of the middle of the road. And it worked for me. I'm still alive. I've never been injured. I've biked on busy roads. I've walked alongside busy roads, highways, state highways, in fact.
You out there hitchhiking.
I mean, I grew up in Proctor, Duluth, Proctor, right on the border, and I would take my bike all the way out to Hermantown, out to Cloquet. I'd go along Highway 2. I would... I am alive to tell the tale. No near misses. I am here to say it is possible to bike and walk and not get hit by traffic.
Now, how could you do that without a map of existing and proposed bicycle and pedestrian networks?
I just wandered around until I found the place. No, I knew where I was going.
A nomadic biker?
I mean, when I was young, I put a lot of miles on my bike every day.
I did too, believe it or not. I remember the last summer. I always talk about the summer of 1991 because it was the last summer that I goofed off all summer.
Right.
I was 14. Twins were winning every day. Mm-hmm. Of course, won the World Series that year. It was the year before I started at Cooper.
Right.
And by 92, by the time I was 15, I was working and I was had my driver's permit and all that. Mm-hmm. So I consider the summer of 91 sort of the last summer of my childhood,
right,
in that way. And I had a bike route that I went Crystal to Robbinsdale and then basically up through Crystal again, but it was a very big loop because I went over Highway 100. This is back when Robbinsdale Middle School used to be TLC, it was at the time.
Right.
And then I would come back and ride my bike up Broadway past Steve-O's and what is it? Big Louie's, that was called the Main Event back then.
Right.
I remember I'd ride back through there. And I found it without any city engineering consultant telling me where to go. I was a 14-year-old kid. My mom said, look, you don't go past Highway 81. You don't go past 169.
Right.
She trusted me enough to go. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing we're talking about here. We also, can I say this too again? We live in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Okay? We live in a state where you're not going to bike in December, January. Why is there so much emphasis on biking?
It's a great question. It has become, Minneapolis has become unnavigable.
Navigatable.
It's terrible.
It's horrid.
You cannot drive on Minneapolis streets. I know, and I'm going to have to take a picture of it next time I'm there and put it up on Twitter. We're on Twitter, by the way, at COMM Solutions, if you're interested in following us there, because we put really helpful stuff up there all the time. I'm going to have to take a picture. There's a street I know in Minneapolis where you drive down the street. They have 2 bike lanes, one on each side, and then 1 center lane for the cars, oncoming traffic to move around each other. It is the worst thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's getting pretty bad too. I'll tell you what, it's coming out to the suburbs. I mean, it's St. Louis Park is a city where it's almost impossible to drive around.
The road that goes out to Westwood Nature Reserve, they put the bike lanes in the middle of the street, like in the middle of each lane of traffic.
You go out on Excelsior Boulevard, I mean, you can barely drive. I drive a big truck. Okay?
Right.
I mean, I can't fit in all these small spaces, and this is all being done on purpose. I mean, there's nothing else.
Well, they've got these groups that this is what they push for, and whether it is a local Golden Valley group like this or someone that is more national, whether it's complete streets, that they have a national
Transit
group,
for livable communities.
Transit for livable communities. On Twitter I reposted something from Street Blog USA where it says, These are the conditions pedestrians are contending with in the U.S., while the media blames texting for their deaths. And it shows two adults pushing...
How many people do you see walking on their phone?
Well,
a lot.
Walk
into a telephone pole.
But they posted this picture that is not reality. I mean, it's two people pushing a kid across. It's 6 lanes of traffic with a center turn lane. And I mean, they have those roads all over the place over here, and people. But let me just say, these people are not crossing at the crosswalk. They're halfway down the hill, so that they're crossing blindly to cars coming over the hill. They're jaywalking, and
we need Roscoe P. Coltrane to go give them the ticket.
And we're supposed to cry for these folks that...
Well, every time there's a pedestrian or a biker in an accident, it's always assumed that it's the car's fault.
And it's a very sad thing. I will say, anytime...
I don't want anybody to get killed or walking across the street.
Or hurt.
Of course
it needs to be safe. But... one, obey the rules. If
everybody obeys the rules, nobody dies. Okay,
unless for the most part,
unless it's bad conditions or
someone running a red light or
but that's not obeying the rules.
Right.
I mean, the thing is that whether that's speeding or being on your phone while you're bikers and pedestrians not paying attention either. Kids run across the street. I've seen bikers run red lights. I've seen them not stop for stop signs.
Yeah.
I've seen them flying down hills like 35 miles an hour, going faster than my truck.
I've watched bikers downtown have to lay their bikes down to avoid getting hit because they're going through red lights.
So, but I do think though that there is this assumption that the drivers are always the problem. Let's get back to this here just real quick.
No, I think that's good.
Listen to this quote here. Much of the implementation of the greater proposed network, whatever that is, will rely on the availability. Here we got some code language of funding and opportunities to partner with other organizations, according to a memo from planning manager Jason Zimmerman and associate planner Emily Golnier. Now, what do you think they're pulling down? $30,000 a year?
I was going to mention that before we get into what they actually said. They have a planning manager and an assistant planner.
Who the hell are they?
You really need both of those, Golden Valley. That's a lot of tax money right there.
Oh, and of course, incorporating into the 2040 plan. But of course, the council is just orgasmic about this. Schmidgall couldn't be more pleased with the result. What results? What? You're gonna have a map of the damn road? That's the result?
Well, let's back up and look at this though. What they're saying, because funding, they're looking for grants. They're looking to spend
money,
tax money. They're looking for groups to partner with. That's going to be Three Rivers Park District. That is going to be
nonprofits
out in Golden Valley. I'm trying to think. They've got some other like regional parks that aren't affiliated.
Theodore Wirth. Well, you've also got you got the pro-biking groups that are going to lobby with this. You'll have the green space folks that are going to go crazy about this. You'll have, and they're connected with a lot of big organizations like the American Medical Association, which is really big into the active living stuff.
Yes.
And that's how they'll get connected with the county. The county will give them free money, which of course is our tax dollars from a different pocket, to be part of their active living, whatever you want to call it, program or active living. I don't even know what you call it. I don't know what active living means. Somehow taking transit they consider active living. So sitting on, have you ever been on a bus and seen the people on a bus? They're not too active.
Well, some of them are. You ever seen they have the bike racks on the bus, so you can bike to the bus and take the bus where you're going.
And I've seen them empty 95% of the time.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
They do. In Minneapolis, you might not see it empty, but out in the right down Bass Lake Road and look at the bus. How many bikes are on it? None. So, I mean, maybe they take it from Minnehaha Falls to Loring Park in Minneapolis, but they don't use it anywhere other than that city.
Oh, it's craziness.
So, but the council's just, oh my goodness.
Well, it's funny. I mean, Schmigdal is so happy about this, but
does he take a bike to the council meetings, I wonder?
I'd like to know that. Yeah. Isn't he the guy that he got appointed instead of elected, and then I guess he kind of won.
Mike Freiberg's seat.
Yeah, Mike Freiberg's seat.
He came from the planning commission, I know that.
Yep, he did. So that's why he loves this so much.
And it's another thing, get on your planning commission. Mm-hmm. Times you got to say that.
Yep. He was the one that was emphatic that Golden Valley cannot say the Pledge of Allegiance at their council meetings. And he tried to eliminate that.
Yeah, I think they still say it.
Yeah.
But, they actually spent more time on debating the Pledge of Allegiance than they did talking about their comprehensive annual financial report.
Right.
Having an idea where the priorities are.
So that lets you know where Mr. Steve Schmigdal is coming from.
I'm sure he takes a knee during the national anthem, too. So that's, I mean, Golden Valley is, getting what they get, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one thing if you don't want to say the pledge, fine, but to force others to not be able to say it because you don't want to, I mean, what kind of tyranny is that? I mean, that's the worst kind.
Well, I don't understand what it is about the Pledge of Allegiance that bothers people so much.
It's the phrase "under God" for most of them. I mean, I can't speak for like the current brouhaha with the NFL, but I think that's different. But I know there's a large push from like the atheists and the far left to
and I hate to say it, libertarians
to some degree, because there's an element of that within the libertarian movement.
Unfortunately, and I think
it's not all of them.
I think that's why they get 1% sometimes. I don't think smoking pot and hating the pledge is a platform that brings anybody out, but I still respect the libertarian viewpoint and hold some other views personally. But yeah, there is this element, and I do think it is on the left and a little bit on the right, of removing all symbols of religion, particularly Christian ones.
Right.
I mean, if this were a Muslim thing, nobody would touch it.
Right.
The same libertarians, the same leftists wouldn't touch something that's Islam. That's my big problem. Is Christianity's always the target.
Right.
And so, until they complain about a mosque, they can shut up, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. Going back to the article, though, I mean.
Did we go off on a tangent yet again? It happens.
It happens. But that's what makes this podcast interesting. Anyways.
You mean everything I say isn't interesting? Because that's what I'm here for.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the cumulative effect of all of it.
There's a scale.
Coming together.
Yeah.
It's like if we were just to the point. People get their information pretty quick, but we make it entertaining. So it's good.
They turn on the nightly news.
Yes. A news show or not, but we bring news into it, and that's why you love us. All right. So, the quote goes on here where it says, where is it? Oh, here it is. I would like us to treat every county road the same way.
Well, is that the city's responsibility?
No, because it's a county road.
So then why is that even...
Well, they should treat it... In that case, they should treat every county road the same way. They should ignore it and leave it for the county. But I don't think that's what they meant.
No. They want the county as a partner, if you will. Mm-hmm. And they know how to get the county's money, which is to put... the things on a road that the county's going to want.
But even so, think about county roads. Is every county road the same? Should it be treated the same way? Look in Crystal.
Not.
Look, you have County Road 9, which is 42nd. You have Bass Lake Road.
West Broadway.
You have West Broadway. You have 81. Are those all the same? Should they be treated the same way? No. Nobody would say that. They're turning County Road 81 into a 6-lane... terrifying mess, but then you've got Bass Lake Road where they have gone from 4 lanes down to 2 with a center turning lane.
Yeah, on the east side. Well, it's again, we've got the one-size-fits-all mentality, and we see it everywhere. Every city has to have X amount of bike path trails. We see it in school districts. We see it with housing. You've all got to have the same thing. Nobody can make a decision. No city can have any kind of character of its own. We're going on and on and on with that same thing. Now here's my take. We have the Mark Nowinski.
Yes.
Polish guy.
Yes.
He is the physical development director of Golden Valley. Now, can you tell me what that position entails?
Physical development.
Is that the guy that helps you diet?
Could
Physical
be.
Development?
Crunches.
I just envision him being Richard Simmons. He takes the beach ball to the meeting and, come on, everybody. That's physical development to me.
Could be.
I don't know what that position entails, but he has talked about, and we're reading this from the Sun Post, by the way, we should say this.
Yes.
Some of the suggested bike lanes may need state funding, while others require multi-use trails. It's a big, expensive undertaking. Well, this is the same city that, strains and strains over every cent. Oh, we're going to have to cut police and fire. Oh, they spend $20 million to redo Brookview while threatening the residents with police and fire cuts. Now, Of course, they're all about spending money on bike paths.
And it doesn't end. With the all the money that they're spending there, and we'll get into some of these other issues, but I think there's some real grievances that the residents of Golden Valley should have, but yet they don't seem to have those grievances when it comes down to electing people to office. They've got the whole deal with the copycatting St. Louis Park, where if you have a rental property, the city can come on and inspect at any time without having any kind of a warrant or anything like that. It's like, no, there's a rental property. It needs to be up to code, so we can come in whatever.
If you're renting, you lose your rights.
Yep. So you should, if you're a property owner and you have rental property in Golden Valley, you should be pretty upset. And I think that your residents in your rental property should be pretty upset. Maybe upset enough to go vote the people who are in office out of office. Because right now, they can send an inspector over at any time.
Well, now we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But of course, like we mentioned before, the city council went goo-goo gaga over this. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out what this is exactly.
Right.
What is the, like you said before, what is the problem we're trying to fix here? What is the, first off, where is public input on this? You and I have tried to look up this committee and see who's on this committee, and we can't find any information on that. Is it city staff? Is it people on the planning commission?
I think it's all of it. The best we found was a vague reference to bringing public and government together.
Oh, zippity-doo-dah.
But it really doesn't say in what capacity.
I'll tell you what it is. It's make the plans.
Right.
Then you can have input on the plans that are already made.
Right.
But there's no input before the plans are made.
Right.
Which means a sales pitch is coming there.
But enlighten me again, from your time on the City Code Task Force at Crystal, how much involvement did the city government have, and how many of them were there involved on the task force?
Okay, if you mean the council,
yes. Nothing.
There was, like I said, there was staff and legal.
Yeah.
Because they had to write up a new ordinance, and sometimes state law sometimes superseded local law. Same thing with county law, so we were not always able to change everything we wanted.
But they guided the discussion, right?
Yes.
Or they oversaw it. They didn't guide
it. They responded to what we came up with. The way we did it was we'd say, okay, Chapter 2, the next meeting. Yeah. We all came up with our suggestions and then talked about them at the meeting. It wasn't City Council saying, okay, look at Chapter 2 and look at these 3 things and give your input on. No, it was, everything came from committee members. Nothing came from the city or the city attorney or the council. They responded to what we came up with. And the city council didn't chair it. City staff wasn't on the task force.
Right.
And like you said, this is an effort to steer it in a certain direction. I guarantee you, something like, I want to treat every county road the same way, would never come from a citizen task force.
Right.
Not in a million years would 10 independent citizens with different views say anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and from what I see, I mean, it looks like there is a lot of city council involvement here because, I mean, coming out of this, Mayor Shep Harris said he wants to support continuing the task force, but nobody on the council can seem to agree to what frequency, and that would
continue them to do what?
Exactly.
I keep coming back to that. To do what?
Well, he says that the bike and pedestrian issue is such a high priority to this council, and he wants to give it more emphasis.
So what are we going to do? Create a second commission then? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, what do you do? But
give them a council seat? I mean, what do you?
I mean, you've got Johnny Clausen, who wants to meet annually, and then Faunus wants to meet quarterly, and
Shep wants to meet twice a year. Or something. It's this is a solution in search of a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what the issue. The only thing I can think of is this is just all part of the overall plan to get us out of our car, to try to make driving such a pain in the arse that we have to walk or bike somewhere.
Right.
And they are laying the foundation for that.
Right.
And I can't think of any other thing that this is accomplishing. I mean, we don't know what this task force was tasked with doing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we don't know who's on it. We don't know what the end game they're going to meet. Kate, go ahead and meet.
Yeah.
And where are we going with it?
Well, and I think, looking at some of the plans that other cities have for trails and biking and whatever, a lot of it is connecting these trails from city to city. But it looks like Golden Valley is going even further because they want to work with schools and nonprofit organizations, I imagine, so that there's ready availability to allow people to bike and walk to school, and so it's more reason for grants. It's for the kids.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about this before. How many schools are in Golden Valley? Not too many.
Not too many. They all belong to other districts.
Don't they already have sidewalks on them, I would assume?
Well, I know, over by, what's the middle school over there? I'm drawing a blank. Off of Douglas. Sandburg. Yeah.
You got a roundabout there.
Yeah. You got sidewalks. You got...
What is the problem going on right there? And you got huge businesses right next to them. Yeah. You've got all those sidewalks and complete streets on Medicine Lake Road, just north of there. Yeah. Which they share with New Hope and Crystal, of course.
Right.
But what are you going to do right there?
Yeah. I don't know. And there's not a ton of schools that are in Golden Valley.
There's the Olson,
Olson
STEAM school, but that's a small school in a residential neighborhood that a couple hundred kids go to.
Right.
What are you going to work with schools to accomplish? I mean, schools, look, find me a school that doesn't have a sidewalk on it.
Right.
It's again, there's no problem with it. But I'll tell you what, you want to get angrier?
Let's do it.
They go a step further.
Okay.
Their economic competitiveness portion of their comprehensive plan. Again, this is all part of updating your comprehensive plan through the year 2040, which every city is going through right now.
By next year, they have to be done.
Yep, by the end of 2018. And once again, their physical development director is working on supporting a dynamic town center, showcasing their green community and emphasizing multimodal transportation. So that's going to increase their economic competitiveness.
I guess so.
A green community Golden Valley claims there's 34,000 jobs in Golden Valley. You believe that?
I don't know.
Really high to you?
It is high, but you do have Care 11, you have Honeywell, you have
General Mills.
General Mills. Those are the big ones. You have all the stores that are along 55. You have
north side of 394 too.
Yeah, Menards. You
Byerly's.
have
Byerly's. I don't know. It sounds really high to me.
Employees add up fast, I guess. But you think about it, like some of the biggest companies in Minnesota, are around like 10 grand or so, none of those are in Golden Valley. But, you think about fitting 10,000 people into downtown Minneapolis, like, 2 or 3 different buildings. And
but let me throw out something.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to double in the next 30 years? I mean, where are they going to go?
Right.
How much of a plan do we need? Here are their goals for economic competitiveness. Now, you can tell this came out of government,
right?
Because no private entity would ever come up with this as goals. Understanding the local business environment. If you don't understand the local business environment, you shouldn't be employed, nor should you be on the council.
Especially you shouldn't be on the council.
Oh my God, if you don't. Meeting with brokers, developers. Why would you want to do that? I mean, unless you wanted to manipulate a certain thing to happen.
Right.
There's no reason to periodically meet with developers.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? You're going to either A, offer them freebies to come into your city, or something like that.
Right.
I mean, why would you meet with them?
Well, in Golden Valley, I think it's a fully developed city.
Pretty
much. I don't think there's much room other than for like infill development where you take blighted things or you take things that have been sitting vacant for a long time. Or you grow vertically.
It's the only option.
Right. Which I think we'll get to in the third article that we're going to look at. But so they're putting together a comp plan, and they want to make sure that it is competitive for business.
You want to be competitive for business? Lower everybody's taxes.
Yeah, government doesn't have much to do with business competitiveness other than driving it to other cities.
Right. All they do is get in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, second point here, develop economic partnerships with business groups such as Greater MSP, Chamber of Commerce, oh God, the Golden Valley Business Council, who the hell are they? And develop and expanding relationships with colleges, nonprofits, and lenders. What colleges are in Golden Valley?
I don't know. I could Google it, I guess. Maybe there's like
don't bother, because I know what this is.
Maury Povich College of Administration.
You are the father. Let me tell you. When business and government get in bed together,
yes,
we the people are the losers.
Yes.
That is how to read that statement. I mean, like I said before, why don't you just, instead of developing an economic partnership with a business or a developer, why don't you lower everybody's taxes, get the heck out of the way, and let the free market develop what it's going to develop through supply and demand? Simple kindergarten level economics. Why do we need to lay this out in some comprehensive plan here? Retaining and expanding the existing job base. I'm sorry. The second government does anything to do that, all they do is drive it out.
That's right.
I don't even know if I want to read the other thing. I mean, strengthen the links between land use and the economy. What is that translation for? Transit-oriented development.
Right. Encouraging reinvestment and contemporary uses in existing properties and amending the code to allow for greater range of uses with the light industrial zoning district.
And that means TOD, mixed use. They don't say it.
No.
But what does expanding the uses mean?
Exactly.
That's code language.
Exactly. Where in your zoning ordinances you may have a very strict, this is for commercial, this is for industrial, this is residential. You start to blend them.
And when I was on the planning commission, they divide them even further. Yeah. There's this neighborhood commercial, which is something, if you're in Crystal, something like where Milton's is there, where you have a few businesses in a residential neighborhood, is actually zoned differently than, say, the Crystal Shopping Center, because they recognize those two things aren't the same.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
And then I love this. Promoting amenities to attract workers. Okay.
Like water slides?
No,
or
like different kinds of housing types and prices. Parks and open spaces. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move to Golden Valley for those open spaces.
I wish they'd have an open space where City Hall is.
Retail and entertainment centers and good transportation options. Translation, you're not going to use your car.
Right.
Now, you want to attract workers. The number one thing you can do to attract workers is to get out of the way of the people who do the job creating.
Right.
I mean, if you... Let me ask a question. Why is it that if raising taxes on people who smoke results in fewer smokers, why doesn't raising taxes on job creators result in fewer jobs? Isn't it the same concept?
Yeah.
So if you stop fining them, stop telling them what they can and can't build, stop putting permit requirements in their way, that's how you attract workers. If the good jobs are there, it doesn't matter what housing types you have.
No.
The market is going to react to that.
Right.
They're going to realize, okay, this is an area that people want to move. Here's what they would like to buy. So here's how we're going to react and build. You can't plan for that. How do you plan for that?
Yeah, you can't. And in a place like Golden Valley, I mean, you may have the best...
fully developed already.
You might have the best businesses in the world, but people might want to live a little further out in Plymouth. They might want to live further out like Corcoran. They might want to live in Crystal because the government's way better in Crystal. They may... No, they're not going to live in New Hope. But...
Not even for free.
No. So, but... You can't control it, and you think you can by providing what they call housing equality, housing options, and anytime you do that, you're just self-engineering yourself into a corner.
You are social engineering.
Yes.
You're going to, if anything, you're going to probably not attract people.
Yeah.
If you do things like that.
Right. People don't want to be around that stuff for the most part. I mean, townhomes are pretty popular right now. I will give you that, but there are a lot of condominium
They've gone through
places
ups and downs,
going up, and a lot of them aren't filling up. These condominium high rises,
that's because they try to make them luxury places and things like that. And it's, Golden Valley on the one hand, and we'll get into, they complain about affordable housing. Yet, what are they pushing? They're pushing high end.
Yeah.
New Hope's doing the same thing. They're pushing luxury apartments. Like, okay, well, here's the thing too. What Mayor Harris says here is, and his lack of understanding of how to fix it.
Yes.
Is I laughed the first time I read this, and then I thought, God, this guy's been a mayor for 6 years, and he still can't figure out simple zoning laws.
Right.
Okay. So this Nowitzki guy goes on and on, and who cares what he says? Same thing. You can figure it out. But Harris wants to be more aggressive and proactive. Harris referred to the experience the city had with Dunkin' Donuts that wanted to go somewhere on Highway 55 and couldn't do it because of the zoning, so they went to New Hope instead. Well, Mr. Harris, you can change the zoning laws.
Absolutely. You can give a variance.
You can give a conditional use permit.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, it takes 3 of you to do it. So if you want to be proactive, right now you're talking about something you could have done and chose not to.
Absolutely.
So what is his point there?
He doesn't have one. He's making excuses for losing business to New Hope.
What he's basically saying is our zoning laws are not fitting who wants to come in and set up a business at a certain place.
Absolutely.
So why isn't he going, okay, why doesn't he put on the next meeting agenda a change to that, or send it to the planning commission or whatever their procedure is. Instead, he's standing here waiting to change the comp plan for 2040. So, what?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. If you have the ability to act now and you're putting it off into some future date, and I want to say also, this doesn't just happen as far as zoning with businesses, it's also with homes, and a lot of, as we'll find out with the mixed use and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know about you, but think about the places where you used to work before you were a business owner. Same with me. I'm thinking about before I owned businesses. How close did I really want to live to those places that I worked? How often did I want to be reminded about, hey, there's the place I spend 8 hours a day and I'm not really happy? You know, you don't want to do that. No. I mean, if you have the means to travel, I mean, there are people who can't afford a car and so they want to walk to work. That's different. I think the number of people that do that's far less than the people who drive to work,
the number
take
of that
a bus
is
to work.
Minuscule. Most people take the bus or ride their bike or walk because they have to, not because they choose to.
So they live in close proximity, and by that I mean within 15 minutes of work.
But here's the difference. The difference today is you don't get a job with Ford and stay there for 35 years. A lot of people, think how many companies you've worked for in your life. Now, I've been working since I was 15. I probably worked for 15 different, when I'm 40.
Right.
I probably work for more the rest of my life. So I may have a job at General Mills, and then I may get a promotion to a different, so where I live, if I knew I was going to work at Ford for 35 years, I might want to live 5 minutes away. But I might not.
I wouldn't want to.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a lot that goes into where you live. The schools around there, if you have a family.
Right.
Maybe your spouse works somewhere else. That's a possibility.
You live halfway in between the two jobs.
Maybe you have you found a great deal on a house that you couldn't find somewhere else.
Right.
Not because of the housing types, but because of the situation. There was a great deal 10 minutes away, and I couldn't find that closer. I mean, there's a lot of reasons people, maybe you wanted to live by a lake, or you wanted to live away in a more quiet area, away from a shopping center or something like that.
Right.
Or maybe you wanted to live in a townhome association, and there's one here and there isn't one there. Big deal.
Yeah. Or you can't control from housing association to housing association what the rules and regulations are, and this housing association, hey, we got all these great townhomes, but they don't let you put anything in your yard, and it's lights out at 9 o'clock versus these guys down the road.
Can't have a dog or whatever. And speaking of housing, the Golden Valley mixed income housing policy. You ever heard of something like that?
Mixed income housing policy. Yeah, I mean, I've heard things like that alluded to.
Mixed income. So is that like a white person and a Hispanic person? They both make money, so that's a mixed income?
No. What they're talking about is housing. Well, kind of. That's kind of what they're alluding to, even though that's not the truth. Mixed income. So they're looking at, another word for that is housing equality. They want to have affordable housing. They want to have housing for the elderly. They want to have housing for the disabled. They want to have housing for people that want to rent. They want to have housing for people that want to own homes. They want to,
and if there's demand for it, the market will provide it.
Right.
There, I fixed the problem.
Great, that's good.
I mean, I don't need a housing plan.
But that's not enough, because the Metropolitan Council's 2040 plan, it states that this is a goal. You have to make room for this.
But they have no authority to enforce that.
No, they don't.
They cannot enforce housing.
I mean, other than the fact that
they can make you put it in your comp plan.
They can make you put it in your comp plan.
But they can't do anything. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And here's the thing. The government has done more to manipulate the price of real estate.
Yeah.
The last 50 or 60 years than you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Everything from interest rates to deductions on your taxes to penalizing you if you don't own a home to jacking up property taxes. They have done more to screw the average person. You think the city of Golden Valley has a clue how to fix that?
Oh no, and they do it in a myriad of ways, like you were saying, and other things that they do is try to reduce the size of lots. Like Big Lake is going through their comp plan review right now, and I know that the city government wants to control the lot size, where some of the citizens want to have larger lot sizes to attract in more money into the community, and they want to bring in more business owners. They want to.
I think too the
families that aren't looking for starter homes,
and I think the citizens also there just don't want limits placed on. If somebody wants to buy a larger lot, they should be able to. I think that's the point.
But they're losing those people. People come and buy their first home in Big Lake, and then they go to Elk River or someplace where they can get a larger size lot
if they want to.
Because of the development possibilities out there, and they're bringing those people in. So Golden Valley, you're kind of messing all this stuff up because you are trying to make people more compact. You're trying to come up with a solution that creates a problem that wasn't there to begin with.
Well, we got good old Larry Fonest here, who claims that 140,000 Twin Cities households are cost-burden renters, meaning they're unable to meet their monthly housing costs. Well, so are they all homeless now? If they're unable to meet it, then they all should be homeless.
I guess so. Golden Valley is full of... You heard it here. Golden Valley is full of people that have been evicted.
I don't know how else to read that. The Metropolitan Council predicts an additional 70,000 living units will be needed to meet the housing demand.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and you have Shep Harris defending the Met Council. Met Council is portrayed as the easy punching bag or big bad wolf regarding affordable housing. They're requiring us to add 111 affordable housing units in the next 20 years. Then he says in a remarkable statement, it's being driven by market and demographics. Well, if that's the case, why is the Met Council requiring you to do something if it's driven by the market?
Right.
This guy wouldn't know economics if it ran him over.
Yeah.
He is clueless. I mean, like I said before, you think Golden Valley is going to solve this problem? You know what? Here's the thing. Because of government policies, and if you want to help out people, Mr. Harris, in your city who maybe are getting by or have a house where they're barely making the payment, you know what? Get off their back, cut their taxes, quit charging them to put tar on their driveway.
Yeah.
Leave them the hell alone if you want to help them out. But you put up some affordable housing thing. You put up some government subsidized garbage. You are bringing your neighborhood down.
Yeah.
Not helping it.
That's right.
And I can't believe this guy, this supposed great consultant that he is, or this great, he's some great innovator or some in demand, all 5'3" of him. I mean, I can't believe he can't understand that.
Yeah.
And you make people wards of the state, you aren't helping them.
And that's what he goes on to say. I mean, we've got an aging population in Golden Valley, and more people are on fixed incomes. We need to do things. The government does not need to do things. They do not need to get involved in the housing market. They need to let the market take care of itself. If developers feel like there's a market out there for assisted living, then they'll build it.
Somebody's going to.
They'll do it. They don't need your help. And
again, this gets back to, are they going to subsidize something? I mean, these affordable housing's already subsidized.
Yeah.
Are they going to subsidize it further? If you want to help out people on fixed incomes, guess what? A developer's going to go, hey, we can get the taxpayers to foot the bill.
Yeah. And I don't know. They try to paint this picture like everybody wants to move into these types of places. There are a lot of older people that want independence as well. You know,
I go try and move my father into one of the
my great grandma and my great grandpa. I mean, my great grandma died in their house, or I don't know if actually in the house, but they were living there, and my great grandpa was in a nursing home for only a short time. He was in his house well into his 80s, almost to 90. My grandparents were both living in their home when they passed away. I know other people whose parents are 90, 91, 92. They're still living in their home, and there are a lot of people that don't want to give up that independence.
And there's some people too who move in with their kid or something of that nature.
Right.
And I sit back and I think about this, quote, aging population. You keep hearing that. You know, we're not going to be aging forever.
Right.
And I worry about building too many of these.
And that's the thing. What happens after the baby boomer generation passes and we've built all of these affordable housing units?
Look at it this way. World War II generation's dead.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Right.
I mean, if they're alive, they're 100.
Right. There's a few, but
and the baby boom generation is already pretty much mostly retired now.
Yeah.
If you were born in the 40s or 50s, you're pretty much, a lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
And it worries me and again, there's a difference between building something and have the government plan. It seems like everybody is building retirement homes.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to a point where, is Golden Valley a retirement? Is there a retirement? If this were Phoenix or Florida, I would,
Texas.
Yeah, I would be a little bit more open to it. I still don't like the government trying to push it to happen. But
no, again, I mean, a place, say Florida, someplace that is well heard of, like
no income tax,
the Villages.
Sorry.
You know, do you think that the Floridian government had to push to get a place like the Villages created?
No, not at all. I think that entrepreneurs saw what was happening there. They saw flocks of people moving there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Probably to get away from taxes. Probably look at what's happened in New York.
Retiring. It's a warm place to go.
Yeah, it's they can get their Social Security check and it's not taxed.
Yeah,
and that's a big draw to people. And some people live half the year somewhere. Maybe they come up here for the summer. And there's a lot more of that than there was maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Absolutely.
But I don't see Crystal, New Hope, Golden Valley, and Robbinsdale as places anybody wants to end up. No. Disrespect. No. Because I've lived in Crystal and Robbinsdale.
I mean, they'll come here in the summer and, spend time with their families. And I don't know, maybe then, it is easier to have a smaller place where you don't have the upkeep when you're gone and whatever. But again, the market should dictate that.
Plus, you can always hire the neighborhood kid to come over and mow the lawn. Whatever happened to that?
Oh, it still happens. I know it does.
I did that when I was younger.
Yeah.
So now let's round this out here, Jay, to the Golden Valley elections. Let's just quickly touch on.
Yeah.
We got a council election coming up.
We do.
This November, because they're one of the stupid odd year cities.
They're an odd year city. They don't have wards. They don't have a primary. It's just kind of a free-for-all. And the worst thing about this, before we talk about anybody that's running, I mean, if we look back at, let's look back at 2013. We'll go back 4 years. About, and keep in mind, Golden Valley, about 23,000 people. There were about 3,600 people that voted in that election, just estimating. 2 years later, in 2015, with a mayoral election, there were about 200 people more. About 3,800 voted in that one. So you're looking at just a minuscule portion of that city that is even getting involved in the elections. And let me say, as someone that has kind of been an observer of Golden Valley's elections and seen people kind of get up and run without being able to turn out a base, unions have a big presence in Golden Valley, and they'll send out their flyers. Last time it was Snope and Faunust were the two that they were endorsing, and lo and behold, those are the two that won in that year.
In 13,
Yeah, back in 13. That's the one where we kind of got to observe what was going on. But even there, I mean, city of 23 or
20-something
thousand.
So you got maybe 13,000 eligible voters, maybe something like that.
They see here 14,450.
Okay,
is those are registered voters, not eligible. Those are registered. So even there, you've got like 10,000 people that, for one reason or another, whether they're eligible or not, are not registered.
No, they're too young or whatever.
Yeah, they could be too young. They could be an immigrant. They could have
just moved and not changed their
or too lazy to go register to vote or whatever.
There are those.
Could be anything. Snope came in number 1 with 1,346 votes. That's it. Faunust got 1,109. That's the number of votes that sent somebody to go for 4 years and talk about mixed housing, mixed economic housing, to talk about bike lanes and walking paths.
They're the people. There's 5 people in that city who decide where all your money goes. And that's what it took. It took what is 1,100 out of 14? It's not even 10% of the eligible voters.
Right.
Voted for these guys.
Yeah.
And look, anybody else could have won it. It's not necessarily a knock on them. It's more of a knock on the idea that anybody who gets 1,000 votes in a city of 20-something thousand can speak with any certainty that they represent anybody.
And I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to assert that if some groups that work down in that area actually were able to mobilize a base and get people out other than just the unions, they probably wouldn't. Snope and Faunust probably would not have won.
No, they wouldn't.
The next closest was Jillian Euchre Rosenquist with 1,015 votes. She was third place. She's actually going to be running again this year for one of the open spots.
There are 5 people running for 2 spots.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. There are 5. We have Larry Faunust again, John Giese, Jillian Rosenquist, Jim Ryan, and Andy Schuler. What do we know about these people? Larry Faunust will give you exactly what you're getting now because
SD 45 DFLer.
Yep. SD45 DFLer. He's
going to vote for transit. He's going to vote for high density. He's going to vote for bike paths. He's going to vote for whatever tax increase is in front of his face. He has no problem with the size of government. That's what you're going to get. That's what he's done for 4 years. I don't know why he would change, especially if he gets reelected.
Absolutely.
Andy Schuler is Green Party. He wants to smoke pot. If you look at his Facebook page, there's nothing about there. Anything about there is about getting stoned and pushing a green agenda,
which is all of the cap and trade stuff, like Green Step Minnesota Cities.
It's not a city thing. I mean, it's smoking weed's not going to.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they don't just talk about pot. They also talk about crippling economic policies that are supposedly environmentally friendly.
Housing equality. Everybody's entitled to this.
Building with green materials.
More requirements on developers. Organized garbage hauling. I'm sure it means all of that.
It does. Jim Ryan apparently is somebody they made up because there's nothing out there on him other than an article by the Sun Post where they talk about who's who running. So this guy, Ryan, he He used to work with the Social Security Administration, sits on the board of directors for Centro Guadalupano, which is a nonprofit that provides services to Hispanics and other immigrant populations in Minneapolis-Phillips neighborhood. He is trained academically for public policy, project management and public administration, political. We don't need to read any further. He's a big government guy. He's been trained in big government. So another great choice here for you guys in Golden Valley. This is good. Jillian Rosenquist, who probably, will... She has a good shot of getting in the top 2 because she was in the top 3 last time, and Snope isn't running.
Right. I mean, she's definitely would be one of the favorites, I think.
Yep. And, what kind of things has she done? She has been on the Open Space and Recreation Commission, the Botno LRT station planning.
I heard she went to college for astronomy. Took up space. That's what I heard.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. She was a board member and president of League of Women Voters, which...
I'm bored with that.
Oh... Anyone who thinks that is a nonpartisan organization...
You are a complete and total babbling idiot if you think that. But they do a good job masking it and somehow able to come out of it without... with only people like us seeing stuff like that.
Right. Minnesota United for All Families. She was part of that. That had to do with the gay marriage thing. Plus some other Boy Scouts and Little League and whatever.
Well, whatever. I'll give her credit for putting all that out there. I mean, that's some of that stuff's not stuff that I would put out there, but, she's telling you who she is. It's I can't say she's being dishonest.
And good on her for being involved in her community.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people, when we try to teach you guys and coach you and say you got to be involved in your community, there's a reason that someone like her has a good shot at winning in November, and it's because she has been involved in her community, has created networks of people that she knows that are willing to come out and vote for her. Yeah,
and she's made those connections. She spent a lot of years doing it.
Yeah, absolutely she has. So she wants to communicate and build partnerships and relationships that will keep Golden Valley the wonderful mix of urban style, suburban tranquility, and community spirit that we love.
Spirit, does that mean alcohol? Does that mean drinking?
I don't think so.
I don't like the U word. I like the S word. I think what's wrong with Golden Valley is they're taking the sub out of suburban.
I think so too.
I think that's the problem. I think Minneapolis is not the city that they should be emulating. So that's just me.
No, and granted, over in eastern Golden Valley, I mean, it looks pretty indistinguishable from Minneapolis at that point, but I mean, you've got a lot of older, larger homes that are kind of like around Cedar Lake and stuff like that, and that's kind of like the nice part.
I mean, but it's also a nicer part of Minneapolis, I would argue.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
I think it is Golden Valley-esque. And to me, if I were living there, I'd want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Not change it.
Right.
My concern is that things like that over time are going to change.
Right.
But not because of market forces, because of putting in light rail or putting in mixed use or, affordable housing or something like that. So, I mean, and who knows? Maybe she isn't in favor of some of those things. If she wants to keep Golden Valley the way it is, the best way to do that is to stop a lot of the changes that are being talked about.
Absolutely.
So I'm open to that if that's what her take is.
Right. If she wants to keep it the same, the stuff that we were just talking about in these articles, she should be against it.
Yeah.
Well, and then John...
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, John Giese has run before.
Came very close to winning.
He is probably more, not quite exactly along the lines of what we think, but more in line with what we think than is what I know of any of these other candidates.
I would agree with that. I know he's a veteran. That I know he has run and been involved for a long, long time in a whole host of things. So, everything from not everything I agree with necessarily, but he is somebody not somebody just coming out of the woodwork trying to run for the first time on something.
Right, exactly. So that's good, he's also somebody who's been involved.
Yeah, we should say he has a website too with a whole host of things on it.
Yeah.
We don't need to go recite it, but you can look at it. John Giese, that's GIESE.com. But he has a whole list of policy positions too.
In fact, if you go out to the Secretary of State's website under candidate filings and look up Golden Valley, it'll show you all 5 of the people. It'll give you their websites, except for Jim Ryan, who doesn't have one. So please research these people and actually go out and vote in your city elections.
And you know what? It's important because there's nothing else to vote for.
Yeah.
There's no presidential race.
There's school boards.
Yeah, I think Hopkins maybe,
Hopkins
but not Robbinsdale.
No, not Robbinsdale.
There's no sexy races, but as we keep talking about, these races are more important, and we got to start having that opinion. And we're not there yet. And in Golden Valley residents, if you're ticked off about something and you want change, you either have to A, get involved yourself, or B, get out there and vote for somebody who's not in there right now and who's not going to make things worse either. So, that's what you have to do. And if you're not willing to do that, then, you're going to be stuck where you are.
Right.
So
as soon as you guys decide to get out in Golden Valley and vote, let me just say this. Hopefully, we should have said this at the top. We've said it a lot, so hopefully if you follow us, you know where I'm headed with this. And you've stuck around anyways if you're in Shakopee, or you're in Lake Elmo, or you're in Timbuktu, somewhere way out by Fergus Falls or Thief River Falls. It is important for you to hear what's going on in other cities, because the same things are going on in your city. They are. And so,
especially with the comp plan stuff with the having to be updated next year.
Right, exactly.
Your city's talking about transportation, housing, parks, aviation, if you have it like we do in Crystal.
Yep.
They're talking about roads.
Yeah.
They're talking about water.
Yep.
Anything like that is in a comprehensive plan.
In fact, just the other day, I tweeted on our Community Solutions account about a complete street that was being put in rural Alexandria. It wasn't even in the middle of the city. It was out in rural Alexandria.
It's the snowmobile lanes.
Snowmobile lanes. No, it was two lanes, and then you had bike lanes on the outside and pedestrian lanes on the outside of that. Who's going to use those out in the middle of nowhere? But it's going in. Why? Because Mado, told
Douglas County or something like that.
Well, they filtered it through the regional development organization over there.
But my guess is Douglas County either has adopted a complete streets policy or they've pressured Alexandria into doing it. Something like that. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure it came from a regional government too, but we ran through the same thing up in Grand Rapids. We've run through the same thing. I've seen it in other cities as well, where it makes no sense where it is.
Oh, look at that overview presentation of complete streets, Douglas County. That took me 1 second to find.
I think it was more like 3.
Well, okay. I am a slow typer. I have to look.
I saw you going finger at a time. Okay, but you're right, and that's a good thing to wrap up on, that we sit and we talk about this, but I promise you, wherever you live, that comp plan's being worked on right now. 853 cities in this state, 189 of them have to submit it to the Met Council, and whether you have to submit it to them or not, I guarantee you look in your comp plan to see the same things we're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
Affordable housing, transportation options, green space, dog parks, sidewalk here and there, bike lanes, you name it, it's there.
Absolutely it is. So we're going to leave you on that note. And if you're in Golden Valley, mobilize and vote. Please. It's embarrassing.
And I'm going to take it a step further. regardless of the election results, whether your guy wins or not, nothing stops on election day. There's no off season in politics.
Nope.
You wake up November 8th, it's a new day. You've got to get back to work, watch those council meetings, attend a work session,
get on a commission,
create a community solutions group of your own, create a blog.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do is nothing.
Absolutely. So,
did we even introduce ourselves at the beginning of this?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, this is Andrew Richter for Jason Bradley. I get to sign off since you didn't introduce us. I'm just kidding.
No, that's good. I just
COMM Solutions.
COMMSolutionsMN.com and COMMSolutionsMN@gmail.com is how you get a hold of us.
Got to say the contact info.
Absolutely.
All right. And another great episode coming next week. They come every week. There's no reruns here on this program. We don't do 10 episodes. We're not the Sopranos. No. We don't do 10 episodes of Sopranos, or Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yeah. We don't do 10 episodes and charge you for 20. No, we don't do that. We're here every single week. No repeats.
That's right. 52 episodes a year. That's the way it works.
I love it.
I do too. All right. So thank you all so much. We love you, Minnesota. It is time for you to get to work.
If I get too caught